Hello and welcome to another BMW build Jekyll and Hyde on Throttle House. Today, we're still in the middle of this whole engine swap thing. This is still the 325 motor. Things aren't any different really around here. But I am going to install the steering coupler, the Condor Speed Shop steering, what is it called? Steering delete? It's going to get rid of the steering shaft Guibo that... I'm trying to do a piece to camera here. Okay. Hello and welcome to Project BMW Jekyll and Hyde on Throttle House. Today we're going to install a Condor Speed Shop steering coupler delete and a power steering delete plate. So the purpose for this is that I want my steering on the track to be very precise, and I want it to be heavy, and I want to feel what's going on my front tires, because that's what I'm interested in, and that's what I like. So we're going to do some work on the steering rack. I'll show you what I'm going to do. This is not something that I can review in this episode because the car it looks like this currently. So I'll be reviewing it later, obviously, but let's install these parts. Okay, so this is the steering Guibo, all right? Steering shaft, steering rack. So I have the Condor Speed Shop delete, okay? This is a solid piece, obviously. It's very well made. It looks nice. It's dirty because I've been handling it. And it's going to delete this. So this is actually a pretty flexible rubber piece, and this will completely sharpen up the feedback coming from the road, which is really what I want. Now, this is for track use only because there's going to be more vibrations, it's going to be harsher, it might wrench the steering wheel out of your hands a little bit more aggressively, especially if you don't have power steering. This is going to be a hard car to handle. I'm excited about this. So here's the thing though, we have to tap and we have to drill little recess screw holes to hold this on here. This fits on the shaft that way, but I gotta find an angle that I can screw it on. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mark. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mark where this is lined up. Way to think. Okay. That's a pretty obvious piece, right? I don't actually know what this looks like when it pops out. This might be a shielding case. That's just plastic, actually. That might come off completely. Okay, bolt out. I get enough clearance that way? No, I can't. Just take the bolt out of the rack. I can feel the weight of the steering wheel. Alright, now I gotta turn it back. This thing will allow me, no it will not. I gotta get rid of this plastic piece here. Alright. There we go. That fits better. Ta-da! Okay, maybe I didn't have to go down all the way because there is like a little recess in here that will take the set screw. Now I have to drill my spots on this one. Okay, so I've mocked up the location of this. This shaft is flush here, okay, and this shaft is flush here. Now I'm going to mark where these screws go with my paint pen, okay. In there, in there, in there. Because that's where the set screws go. I'm going to drill a little detent on here, and I don't even know if I need to do one on there. And that will make sure that this can't come off, right? Yeah, there you go. That's good. Maybe I'll make enough of a hole. Just go in as deep as you can. Oh, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about. Okay. I have drilled I kept everything aligned, by the way. I've drilled the set screw holes, not holes, just like detents in the aluminum. Okay, and now I need to go get some red thread locker because you need red to lock these in. The blue isn't strong enough, it's medium strength, I need the high strength. And I don't know about you, but I don't want this to decouple when I'm on the track, because that would be a quick way to crash. But yeah, so I've got set screws and like bolts that lock them on. So I'm gonna go out and get some red thread locker, and then we are done the steering shaft conversion. That's the good stuff. Look at that. Ooh, that smells strong. It's like glue. Okay. That goes on there. Don't want to crack anything. It's snug. Detents and prevent this from ever coming out, plus the thread locker. I'm pretty confident with that. Okay, we put these guys on to tighten down. Lots of thread locker on there still. If this comes off on the track, I swear. Okay, let's install the Condor Speed Shop power steering delete. Now, I think... okay, so basically the way this works, there is fluid and air in either side of this rack, okay? It passes up through a valve in here based on it opening because of a... I can't remember the name of it. There's a shaft that comes up and attaches to this. When that flexes, it opens up a valve, and the power steering pump is able to pump fluid from one side to the other, which pressurizes the rack in another direction. We're going to delete that system entirely. And the problem is that you can't just delete that and block this off, because what will happen is if fluid and air can't pass from one side of the rack to the other, pressure will build up, and you can actually blow the seals in the rack, which we don't want to do, obviously. So what Condor has done is designed a little plate here that just connects these two, just connects the two sides of the rack, which means that the fluid can pass from one side, and the air, whatever is left in terms of fluid, and the air can pass from one side to the other freely. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure, I suppose this makes sense, as much fluid is out of the rack really as possible. That's my plan for that. Condor doesn't mess around with packaging. I should probably just cut this, but I'm lazy. Slide a washer onto your banjo bolt, slide the delete onto the banjo bolt, and now slide the second washer onto the banjo bolt. So here is the system, really nice milled aluminum. Looks good. Big side goes on the bottom. And we're gonna screw that. Oh wait, whoops, derp. Yep, we're gonna make a little sandwich washers here. Yep. There we go. And that is pretty much it. We're gonna tighten these down to, it says, they have an ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, the UHMW one of these, but this is the aluminum one, and 30 foot-pounds is what it calls for. So that's a 22. I think it is a 21. And there that is. And that is the Condor Speed Shop power steering delete. And Guibo delete. That is a ready-to-go power steering system. I'm not going to tighten these down because I'm going to remove that rack when I put the engine back in. All right, let's see what that sounds like. It is free and easy to move. Good to go. Okay. So there you go. That is the Condor Speed Shop steering coupler delete and power steering delete. Now again, I don't think I would recommend the power steering delete or even the Guibo delete maybe if this is a pure road car, but if you see a lot of track and you're interested in some pretty heavy steering, then this is the way to go. Now I can't test this in this video, but later on when I get these cars rolling and on the ground, I will give you full impressions of what it's like to drive with no power steering in an E46. I know that this is very popular with the spec E30 guys and even the E36, but I haven't found much information on power steering deletes on the E46. Personally, I like heavy steering. I really like cars with unassisted steering racks. I know there's a Z4, I think, with an unassisted rack that you can get. And yeah, but that my personal preference is very heavy steering. My favorite steering in the world is a Lotus, right? Or the Alpha 4C. Very, very heavy steering, very connected road feel. You have to wrestle the car through the turns. That's what I like to do. So I'm kind of hoping to get that feel with this car, so we're going to find out if that's actually what happens. But thank you for watching this episode of Project BMW Jekyll and Hyde. We've got lots more coming. There is Mr. Hyde, the drift car. More body work is happening. We're going to be cutting some panels and welding them on there pretty soon. The engine's going back in Dr. Jekyll very soon. Everything's almost done there on that end. And then we can actually start this car and get it on the ground and see what it feels like to drive, on the road at first at least. But track season is almost here, so stay tuned.